Hello, fellow beings of light traveling on the spaceship called Earth. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mahadeva, and this is the Thunder Wizard YouTube channel. And today I am going to elucidate what I've been telling you all along in the live streams, which is the two most important things that you need to know in order to guarantee your ascension to the 5D. Those two things are very simply, you hear me say it all the time, pay attention and put effort. But I'm now going to explain to you why these things are so important. Pay attention and put effort. The two most important things you need to know in life. The universe is made of a combination of feelings and actions. There are some spiritual teachers out there that'll tell you that the universe is made up of feelings. They will tell you that in order to access the universe, you must change your vibration through your feelings. But that is incomplete, and in my experience, if you follow that path, you will end up frustrated. You will have initial success, but eventually you will end up with a stale, unfulfilling life, and you will walk around pretending that you still believe in it in the hopes that other people will accept you or in the hopes that it will magically start to work for you. But in my experience, you'll find that as time goes on and you only focus on the vibration of your feelings and trying to manifest through your feelings, you will find that that path becomes stale and cold eventually. Unless, for some people, if they are wired correctly enough, this will actually initiate the second part, which has to do with putting effort. So again, two most important things in life are pay attention and put effort. The universe is made of a combination of feelings and actions. Everything can be boiled down to these two combinations, feelings and actions. Feelings arise within you as a result to the stimuli of simply being alive. You then take actions based on your feelings. Those actions then create your external reality. You cannot avoid this dynamic. The universe is made up of an interaction between feelings and actions. So, pay attention, first part. Pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention to what you are feeling in every moment that you have the ability to focus on. Be fearlessly aware of what your feelings are. Pleasant or unpleasant is irrelevant to your proficiency in manifesting your desired external reality. Not experiencing your feelings is an action and a choice. Choosing not to feel or address your feelings is an action based on the feeling of fear. You fear your feeling positive or negative. You fear your feelings of love, for example, because you fear rejection. So you don't ask that beautiful woman or man out on a date. And the result of that action is that you are alone. You fear your feelings of anger for being alone because you chose not to act on your desire to connect with somebody. You fear your feelings of anger for not having love. You feel the universe has betrayed you of your innate right to love and be loved. And out of fear of further rejection, you suppress those feelings of anger out of shame, and the resulting action of suppressing those feelings is you act out passive-aggressively against people you admire and are attracted to. And as a result of that, those same people whom you are attracted to and whom you admire, they ignore you. And once again, you are alone, lonely, and rejected. Because of your actions you have taken based on your feelings. The lesson is you can't avoid your feelings even if you try. If you do choose to avoid your negative feelings, you will still act on them unconsciously, passive-aggressively, and create the very thing you sought to avoid when you chose not to pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention to what you were doing. This is basic. If you're learning a new task, like driving a car, you must pay attention to what you are doing. Otherwise, you'll get into an accident. If you pay attention to what you are feeling, you can choose to take actions that serve you. Then you can pay attention to what you are doing, which will create the external reality your actions will create. If you pay attention to what you are doing, and what you are doing is coming from fear or anger, that awareness will then give you an opportunity to become conscious of an uncomfortable feeling you unconsciously chose to avoid, which is now surfacing in your actions, and you can choose to take opposite action, which will result in a positive result. You become aware that you are acting passive-aggressively toward that beautiful woman you're attracted to, and simply because you want to change your vibration, instead of acting passive-aggressively, you instead ask her out on a date. Whether she says yes or no is not as important as the fact that you changed your actions to a constructive one, which will eventually create your desired outcome, even if it doesn't happen in this immediate circumstance. It's important to understand that the universe is not arbitrary. Your true destiny is not arbitrary, and you do have a destiny. Your destiny is not outside of you. Your destiny, your dharma, or as my ancestors called it, your orlog, which translates as origin law. I love that phrase, origin law, because it nails the truth of the essence of dharma or destiny. Your origin law is within you. It originates within you, and it is a law, means you must obey it. If you do not obey your origin law, your life, at the very least, will be sad and will not result in granting you happiness. God himself, if he exists, does not even know what your origin law is. Waiting around for God to tell you what his will is for you or what your destiny is will result in you accomplishing nothing. Your feeling is, in fact, connected to your destiny, because your destiny is a feeling inside of you. Bear in mind, your actions are fueled by your feelings. So this destiny feeling within you is a feeling that is in a class by itself. It is a feeling of the soul, which originated before the physical manifested universe came into being, thereby the name origin law. So don't look for your purpose or your destiny outside of yourself. Don't look for it in a book or a scripture. God does not know what your origin law is, because God is a product of your mind. Your soul is, in fact, that thing that you want to call God. It lives within you. And even in modern religion, they say, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Your destiny is a feeling of joy that arises when you think of it. If your destiny is to become a ballerina, when you think of dancing, joy fills you. If your destiny is to become president of the world, when you think of being president of the world, a feeling of joy will come through you. Your destiny is fun for you. Anything that is fun is easy to do because you enjoy doing it. The reality of it may be a long and arduous task for you, may be a lifelong task that takes up the majority of your time. But for you, it's easy to do because just the act of pursuing it is fun and joyful for your soul. The external universe knows when you are connected to your inner soul joy. And when you take action based on that joyful feeling of your true destiny, the universe must go into action to give you all of the resources necessary to accomplish your joy. The universe, however, cannot read your mind and cannot give you resources until you take action on that feeling of joy. In other words, if you're waiting for the universe to give you the resources so that then you feel empowered to take action on your joy, nothing will happen. The universe will only respond when you take actions. Now, the universe is your best teacher, because if you are acting out of a mistaken understanding of your joy, or if you're acting out unconsciously based on fear or greed or ego or any of the other so-called bad things within you, you have this friend, the universe, which simply won't respond. Because the only thing that the universe knows is when you are truly acting from your joy. It knows that. It knows absolutely when you are acting on your joy, and it immediately rushes to give you all of the resources that you need. So, if you want to test out what your joy is, take action on it, and if nothing happens, that may mean that you're not operating from your true joy. You may be operating from a mistaken understanding based on fear or greed or competition or ego, or just simply wanting to fit in with what your parents told you to do or what society told you to do. In other words, you may be acting out on what you think your destiny is, but the good news is if you act out only on what you think your destiny is, the universe simply won't respond. So instead of responding to that lack of response from the universe with anger or a victim mentality, instead go, I must not truly have tapped into the deepest feeling within me. So I will pay attention to my feelings, and I will put effort into really listening to what my soul is trying to tell me. And the truth is, it is a very easy thing to do once you can get your intellect out of the way. Once you can get your fear out of the way of doing the wrong thing or being silly or being stupid or not being loved or any of those things. Once you get all of that stuff out of your head and just simply listen to what arises from deep within you, you'll know exactly what your soul purpose is. You'll know exactly what your destiny is. Then you can take action based on that, and the universe will then immediately respond to support you. Your feelings, on the other hand, may be all over the place. So you may have fear, you may have confusion, you may have shame. Ironically, in my experience, the greatest creator of shame within people is when they act on their true joy. They run into their conditioned feelings about who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do, and one of the first things that comes up is shame. And so you end up in this state of cognitive dissonance where deep inside of you you have joy, but externally and mentally you have all this shame. That's okay. You can learn how to take actions based on this second part, which is pay attention, and the second part is put effort. So your soul joy is specific, and it is your truest and most valuable possession. But you will not be able to manifest your true destiny if you are not aware of your feelings, and if you do not take actions to manifest your desires. So you are either acting from your fear or from your joy. I know that sounds, so superficial. You've heard it a billion times. But it is true. You've heard it. You're either acting from fear or love, or you're acting from fear or faith. Either way, it's the same thing. You are operating from fear, or you are operating from the joy of your soul. Those are the only two options you have. That makes life very simple. So you can pay attention to your feelings, And you can be aware of when you're acting out of fear or when you're acting out of joy, faith, love, whichever word you choose to use. So you're either acting out of your fear or your joy, which is another way of saying that you are acting from a state of expansion or a state of contraction. These are also the two things that happen in the universe. Things are either expanding or contracting. You are either in a space of expansion or contraction. Now, it is part of the cycle of life that you will go into spaces of contraction, spaces of expansion. For instance, when you're awake, your consciousness is in a state of expansion because you're aware with your external 3D reality. And when you're asleep, you're in a state of contraction. So your feelings are the same, your actions are the same. You're either coming from a state of expansion or contraction. In terms of your actions towards experiencing your destiny, the goal is to be in a state of expansion, which is another way of saying a state of fearlessness, a state of love, a state of joy. So when you act from the joy of your soul, all beings expand with you. When you act from contraction or fear, every being is negatively affected. Now, all beings have free will and they can choose to act on your influence on them. If they sense your fear, they can choose to act from expansion in their own lives, even though you may be subtly influencing them to be afraid. They may choose to go against that and act from their soul, from their joy, from their love, and they may choose to act from expansion regardless of what you do. But your fear does have an effect on all beings. Conversely, your expansive action may frighten them. So you may be acting from love, you may be acting from faith, you may be acting from the joy of your soul. But if they are going through life in a state of contraction, your expansive nature will frighten them. And they may act out against you in all kinds of different ways. Even if they're on the other side of the universe and you don't have any conscious awareness of their reaction, they can choose to either contract away from your positive influence, which is another way of saying protecting their own boundaries. They can also choose to act in their own best self-interest, and when you act expansively, they may choose to raise their vibration to the next level. So the bottom line is, you are not responsible for the choices of other beings, but you are responsible for the effect your choices have on other beings. So you do have a responsibility to act from your highest awareness so that you can be sure that your actions are creating the best environment for all conscious beings to act on their highest awareness. What they choose to do is their responsibility, but you are responsible for the effect of your actions on all things. So now we get to the second part. First, we're talking about paying attention. That's the first most important thing. The second most important thing is put effort. We've already been talking about it because putting effort is just another phrase for taking conscious action. Bear in mind, you take action no matter what. Even if you choose not to take action, you will passive aggressively take negative action. So you can't avoid taking action. You may try and tell yourself, I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to feel this. But you will still act on it whether you choose to or not. So when you don't put effort, you will act out unconsciously, passive-aggressively, negatively, whether you like it or not. Putting effort means that you are taking conscious action, that you are paying attention to what you are feeling, and you are putting the effort to then take conscious action in response to your feeling. If your feeling is fear, you know to do the opposite. So you put effort in doing the opposite of what your fear is telling you to do. If what you are feeling is coming from love, coming from expansiveness, then you put conscious effort into acting on that expansive nature within you so that you can even have a greater positive influence on all conscious beings and have a greater influence in creating your external reality. So you cannot separate acting on your external reality, creating your reality. You cannot separate that from the influence it has on all conscious beings. And of course, if you don't take action, again, that will have a negative impact on all conscious beings. So since everything you do or don't do is affecting every other being in the universe, which then reflexively has another reflective vibration on you, it only serves you to put effort into taking conscious positive action in your reality. So the good news is you can just focus on yourself, making your life better, creating your dreams. And when you do that, just by doing that, all other beings in the universe are allowed to upgrade to the next level. They are influenced by your positivity to move to the next level. So you have nothing to lose. Put conscious effort into taking action in a constructive way. The universe is manifested by your actions. Your external reality is manifested by your actions. Your actions are initiated as a result of your feelings. The more aware you are of your feelings, the more choice you have in your conscious actions, which means the more opportunity you have to determine exactly what you want to manifest. When you act from the joy of your soul, all beings expand with you, and the universe responds to support you because your actions benefit all conscious beings. And even the quantum field of consciousness and the universe itself is empowered by your actions. When you act from contraction or fear, every being is negatively affected. Beings and the conscious web of the quantum field respond by contracting away from you if you're operating from fear. When this happens, you experience this as a rejection. You feel you're being unfairly restricted by a controlling and empty, arbitrary universe. And once again, your actions create your negative reality. All beings have free will and they can choose to act on your influence on them. If they sense your fear, they can choose to act from expansion, just as you can choose to act from expansion when somebody acts destructively towards you. Instead of simply responding to that negativity and then acting out negatively on yourself or acting out with anger or vengeance and creating a cycle of karma, which will then pull you further into lower densely manifested experience. Instead of that, you can choose to put effort towards taking conscious positive action. Somebody's destructive towards you, you can say, I really love you and I wish you the best, but this dynamic is painful for me, so I must separate from you. As an example, that's one way. Putting effort toward your feelings and acting toward your highest soul joy, this takes no education. It takes no knowledge. It only takes awareness. Awareness of your thoughts and your feelings. What you're going to find as we enter into this phase shift, which we are already in, as we are shifting to 5D awareness, what you will find is that some of the least educated, some of the least smart people are actually going to be some of the most powerful beings in 5D awareness. You will find that some of the smartest people who know the most stuff, who have the greatest intellect, that supposed knowledge will in fact constrict them, and keep them out of coming to the next level of awareness. Because it doesn't take education, it does not take written knowledge, it doesn't even necessarily take experience, it takes awareness of acting on your highest essence. Little children can do that, animals can do it, human beings can do it. But in our 3D manifested universe that we are shifting out of, we have rewarded people for using their intellect to constrict their awareness. We have rewarded people who act out of fear, who act out of aggression, and we give them false resources, which people call money, in order to be abusive and restrictive, full of fear, controlling, destructive, narcissistic. So some of the smartest people in our world will not make the shift to 5D ascension. Now, plenty of smart people will. I like to think of myself as a smart person, but I'm more interested in my awareness and my feelings, and I'm more interested in taking action towards my expansive nature. And as I do that, I tend to become less and less smart as time goes on. So it doesn't matter whether you're smart or whether you're not smart. But what does matter is if you are aware and if you put effort towards acting from that awareness. It's the only thing the universe requires. So, avoid any teachings that tell you that your external reality is created by focusing only on what you feel. That is actually an act of restriction. Sitting on the edge of your bed, focusing on trying to manufacture a feeling of love for being a billionaire, that is not going to do anything to help you tap into your soul desire. Avoid any teachings that tell you your external reality is creating by focusing only on what you feel. Avoid any teaching that tells you that you need not take action, but only need to arbitrarily manufacture feelings to attract similar circumstances. The universe is made from vibrations, as you are taught. But vibrations are not exclusive to feelings. Vibrations are a result of actions. Actions that vibrate the strings of the web of quantum field of consciousness, which is nothing more than the universe. Actions can reverse the effect of negative feelings. So while it is true, if you have a strong negative feeling, that does send out a vibration, and that vibration alone can repel higher beings, it can repel the universe, it can repel other people. But actions are stronger than feelings. Let me repeat myself. Actions have a stronger vibratory effect on the universe than feelings. So if you have a negative feeling of fear, but you choose to pay attention and put effort and act in expansiveness, that action will have a stronger vibration of positivity, which will then attract higher beings and the conscious web of the universe to come to your aid, to help you move to the next level. So the most important tool that you have to transform your negative feelings is energy work and meditation. Because you can't always control your feelings. You can be aware of them, and sometimes that awareness can in and of itself shift feelings, but sometimes the awareness of those feelings won't shift them. If you have fearful feelings, sometimes you can become aware of that, and that will give you the ability to take action in a positive way. But sometimes the awareness of your fearful feelings will not give you the stimulus or the feeling to act differently, and you will feel trapped in those fears. So when that happens, the most important tool you have is energy work and meditation. Qigong, yoga, Tai Chi, any kind of meditation, mantra meditation. Anything that puts you in a meditative state of mind. This gives you the power to have distance from those feelings. You can be aware of them, you can feel them, but they don't control you. Then you can become aware of what the positive action is. Because when you are in that meditative state, every being, think of the most evil being you can imagine, the most evil, horrible demon in existence. Even if that horrible demon were to meditate, it would have distance from those negative feelings, and it would be able to tap into the quantum field. Whenever you tap into the quantum field, you are now open to be reprogrammed. If you had the awareness and the effort in that state of objectivity, you can completely rewrite your entire destiny. So the most evil, trapped, fearful demon in the universe, if it meditates, can instantly become the most powerful, beautiful, loving angel of light that ever existed. This is the power of meditation. Meditation and energy work are the most important tools that you have. And when it comes to ascending to the 5D, it doesn't matter how rich you are, how powerful you are, how educated you are, how smart you are. The only thing that matters is your willingness and your ability to tap into the quantum field and rewrite who you are. Your soul never changes its true soul destiny while you are incarnated, but your personality can be completely, totally erased and replaced with a positive one. For some of us, it may not be that easy. I have to work pretty hard at it. So while I know it's possible to be able to completely shift your dynamic, I haven't yet achieved that. But I know that all I have to do is go into a meditative state, which is a choice, and then I can tap into the quantum field, and the quantum field will download me information, download into me motivation, download into me new vibrations and new awarenesses. And the great thing is I get to take credit for it. I act on it, and people will say, wow, Mahadeva, look what you created. And I will say, yes, I did that, knowing that it was simply downloaded into me from the quantum field. And this is something everybody can do. So, my suggestion for you is to find whatever meditative practice works for you. For me, energy work combined with meditation is what gives me the greatest power, the greatest healing. And so I offer those techniques to you. You can follow any of the links. You can go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. I've just uploaded some new meditation techniques that have been downloaded into me. You can go to the maoshan.thunderwizard.com if you want access to the most powerful energy practice I've ever come across. You can do any of the free meditations or energy work that I have on my channel. Go to the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel page. You can do that by searching in YouTube Thunder Wizard. You'll see my channel page. Go onto it. Go onto the playlists and start practicing any of the free meditations or energy practices. If you meditate on a daily basis and you have the willingness, even if you feel trapped, doesn't matter how far down the spectrum you feel you are, if you meditate on a daily basis and you allow yourself to shift in the direction of expansion, I guarantee you access to this 5-dimensional shift. I guarantee it. So go on to my channel and look for those things, or you can subscribe. You can go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all of my services and all of my other teachings. And I've been saying this for a long time, that it's not about what you feel. Feeling is a vibration, and the universe is not made up solely of the vibration of emotions. As I said, this is at best an incomplete understanding of the universe, and ultimately will result in you hitting a dead end. It ends up eventually being supportive of immature, childish, restrictive, fear-based living, when in reality you are a being of action that is stimulated by feelings. I've been saying this for a long time, but I'm going to put a link in the description of somebody else. Some people have asked me over the years, have you ever heard of Mark Passio? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. But just today I was flipping around YouTube and I saw this and I listened to it, and it is another great explanation of what I'm trying to say. So if what I say confuses you, great. Here's somebody else who's saying the exact same thing in a really wonderful way. So make use of every tool available to you to tap into this meditative mind, which will give you the ability to tap into the infinite computer of the universe, which is the quantum field of consciousness, where you can download all conscious awareness and use that to expansively act towards your greatest happiness, which will eventually lead to the awareness and to the enlightenment of all conscious beings. And how can you lose if that is your reality? That's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, you can ask me a question in the YouTube comments section. And if I like your question, I will make a video on it. I wish you guys all the best. Take care. I will talk to you very soon.